Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're doing well. Let's finalize this subject. So for more rhetoric, we can say it's a comprehensive overview of the four chapters by me, Dr. Muhammad Al-Wishi, for London College of International Studies. So the abstract provides a detailed exploration of the four chapters from the Sophomore Rhetoric course, tracing the art of persuasion from its ancient Greek origins to its modern digital applications. Chapter 1 unveils the foundational principles of rhetoric. Chapter 2 examines manipulative techniques. Chapter 3 celebrates transformative oratory. And chapter 4 navigates the challenges of digital persuasion by integrating historical context, theoretical frameworks, and practical insights. This overview equips students to recognize, resist, and ethically employ rhetoric in today's complex information landscape, fostering critical thinking and responsible communication. Chapter 1, The Hidden Power. Rhetoric defines as the art of persuasion in an invisible yet powerful force shaping human interaction. From subtle advertisement influencing consumer choices to political speeches sways voters, rhetoric operates daily, often unnoticed. Even the absence of information, what is deliberately omitted, carries the persuasive weight. For instance, a political campaign may avoid discussion a candidate's controversial past to maintain a positive image, a tactic as old as rhetoric itself. This chapter introduces rhetoric's foundational principles, emphasizing its role in shaping civilization, as sparking wars and inspiring revolutions, while urging students to recognize, defend against, and master it ethically. The 5th century BCE marked a pivotal shift in ancient Greece with the rise of democracy. Particularly in Athens, previously truth was dictated by divine rights, ancestral wisdom, or priestly decrees, leaving little room for debate. The emergency of public forums and democratic assemblies changed this, allowing citizens to argue their cases in courts and assemblies. This gave rise to the sophists, teachers who offered rhetorical training for a fee, promising to make anyone persuasive regardless of truth or permit. Their focus on winning arguments over seeking justice raised ethical concerns as persuasion became a tool for personal gain. Socrates, for example, a prominent philosopher, fiercely opposed the sophist approach. He argued that rhetoric divorced from ethics was a societal threat capable of manipulating rather than enlightening. His relentless questioning of established norms and power structures made him a target, leading to his trial and execution in 399 BCE for corrupting the youth. Socrates' warning resonates today as seen in modern debates over fake news and propaganda. In 350 BCE, Aristotle addressed these concerns on Rhetoric, the first comprehensive manual on ethical persuasion. Unlike the Sophists, Aristotle viewed rhetoric as sister to dialectic logical debate and ethics, requiring an understanding of human psychology and respect for the audience capacity for reason. His framework of ethos, pathos, and logos forms the cornerstone of this chapter and the course. Ethos, speaker's authority. Credibility is the foundation of persuasion. In pre-democratic societies, authority stemmed from divine or positional power, such as kings or priests. Democracy shifted this to personal credibility built through expertise. For example, scientists' credentials, integrity, consist, honesty, goodwill, showing concern for the audience, and the delivery, confident presentation. For example, a climate activist gains trust by citing peer-reviewed research and demonstrating genuine care for the environment. Ad hominem attacks, like questioning a speaker's personal choices, exploit ethos' importance by undermining credibility before arguments are considered. Pathos, emotional earthquake. Emotions often overweigh logic in persuasion, from ancient Greek tragedies to modern political acts. Pathos drives decisions. New Neuroscience confirmed this. MRI studies show that damage to emotional brain centers impairs even simple choices. Despite interact logic, a compelling story such as a refugee journey resonates more than statistics, creating lasting emotional impact. Maya Angola quote, "People will never forget how you made them feel," underscores this. However, emotions like fear or anger can hijack critical thinking, as seen in inflammatory campaign rhetoric that incites division. Logos, fortress of logic. Logic provides the structural backbone of arguments, using deductive general to specific or inductive specific to general reasoning. For instance, a deductive argument might state all democracies value free speech. This is an democracy. Therefore, it values free speech despite its rigor. Psychological research shows logos as often weaker against emotional appeals. Strong logical arguments require clear, unambiguous terms to avoid misinterpretation, such as defining equality preciousness in a policy debate. Precisely in a policy debate. Rhetoric is described as the architecture of belief systems driving social change and framing reality itself. Its fingerprints appear in courtrooms, marketing campaigns, religious sermons, and scientific papers. For example, a lawyer uses ethos to establish trust, pathos to evoke jury sympathy, and logos to present evidence. Students are urged to recognize these elements in daily life, such as analyzing a viral social media post, and to master them ethically, ensuring they can persuade effectively while resisting manipulation. Chapter 2, The Deceiver's Arsenal. This chapter delves into rhetoric's darker applications, where persuasion is weaponized for power without ethical constraints. From ancient sophists to modern propagandists, manipulative techniques exploit psychological vulnerabilities. Understanding these logical fallacies, propaganda, and the digital age methods is essential for intellectual autonomy in a world filled with sophisticated misinformation. Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that appear convincing but lead to false conclusions, exploiting cognitive shortcuts. Key examples include AD hominem, attacking a person's character instead of their argument. For example, dismissing an environmentalist's climate policy because they flow privately undermines their ethos, diverting attention from the proposal. Strawman misrepresenting an opponent's position to make it easier to attack. For instance, claiming gun control advocates want to abolish the Constitution creates a false dichotomy, avoiding the nuisance debate. Appeal to emotion, bypassing logic with emotional triggers, such as think of the children who will suffer. This exploit protective instincts, overriding critical evaluation. Slippery slope, suggesting an action leads to extreme consequences without evidence. For example, allowing same-sex marriage will lead to marrying pets. This fosters fear, clouding rational judgment. Other fallacies, such as false dilemmas, presenting only two options, or hastily generalization, broad claims from limited data, are noted. For example, a false dilemma might frame a policy debate as either support this tax or destroy the economy. Studying these patterns builds an immune system against manipulation in politics, advertising, and everyday conversation. Edward Bernays and the Torches of Freedom. Known as the father of public relations, Bernays, Sigmund Freud's nephew, leveraged psychology for commercial gain. In 1929, hired by the American Tobacco Company, he targeted women, a taboo market for smoking due to social norms. His Torches of Freedom campaign staged debutants lighting cigarettes during New York's Easter parade, framing it as a feminist protest for equality. Media coverage linked smoking to women's liberation, transforming a vice into empowerment, and skyrocketing lucky strike sales. This demonstrates how rhetoric can reframe societal values for profit. Adolf Hitler's oratory. Hitler's represents the most catastrophic misuse of rhetoric. His rise from obscurity to dictator was fueled by emotional persuasion techniques. His speeches simplified complex issues into slogans and binary choices, such as US versus them, exploiting fear and pride. The 1954 Nuremberg rally attended by 700,000 used dramatic staging, searching lights, flags, Wagner's music, and synchronized marches to create overwhelming momentum. This orchestrated spectacle illustrates rhetoric's power to manipulate masses when ethics are abandoned. Today, manipulative rhetoric thrives in clickbait headlines, political ads, and viral social media posts. For instance, a misleading headline like "Vaccine causes instant harm" uses emotional appeals to spread fear, akin to a slippery slope fallacy. Recognizing these techniques empowers students to resist persuasion that prioritizes power over truth. Um, Fostering critical thinking, essential for informed civilization or citizenship and democratic participation. Chapter 3, The Voice of Change. Contrasting the previous chapter's focus on deception, this chapter celebrates rhetoric's power to advance liberty, equality, and justice. Through historical speeches, it showcases orators who overcame insurmountable odds to reshape societal values, heal divisions, and inspire action. These examples highlights rhetoric ability to elevate discourse and capture the moral imagination and the audiences. Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, 1863. Delivered on November 19, 1863, as soldiers in National Cemetery dedication in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Lincoln's 272-word speech reframed the Civil War as a struggle for equality, not just Union preservation. Following Everett's 2-hour oration, its brevity was striking. Lincoln began. Lincoln began 407 years ago, referring the 1776 Declaration of Independence to emphasize equality as America's founding principle. Techniques included the parallelism of the people, by the people, for the people, and the entities, the living and dead, what we say here and what they did here. Creating a memorable, powerful message. The speech redefined the nation's identity, influencing post-war policies like the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream, 1963. On August 28, 1963, King delivered this speech to 250,000 people at the Lincoln's Memorial during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In 17 minutes, it became a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. Key techniques included anaphora, repeating, repetition of phrases like "I have a dream," "now is the time," and "let freedom ring," built rhythmic intensity and memorability. Biblical illusions. Quotes like "justice rolls down," like waters, and righteousness, like mighty stream. MS 524 lent moral authority, resonating with diverse audiences. Extended metaphors, America as a promissory note and a bad check for Black citizens, and injustice as quick sense versus solid rock, or brotherhood made abstract concept concrete. Strategic improvisation, promoted by Mahalia Jackson's call to tell them about the dream. King's iconic section was spontaneous, showcases rhetorical adaptability. The speech galvanized support for 1964 Civil Rights Act and 1965 Voting Rights Act, balancing condemnation and justice with a vision of reconciliation that even opponents could embrace. Brandenburg Gate Speech 1989. Likely referring to Ronald Reagan's 1987 speech urging Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down this wall, delivered at the Berlin Wall. It preceded the wall's fall in 1989. Islamophobia and the call for freedom amplified global pressure for change, demonstrating rhetoric geopolitical impact. These speeches teach students to craft persuasive arguments that inspire without manipulating. Lincoln's brevity showed the power of concise messaging. King's techniques demonstrate emotional and moral resonance, and Reagan's clarity highlights direct appeals. A student can apply these lessons in advocacy, such as crafting speeches for social causes, ensuring they balance passion with reason to foster unity and progress. Chapter 4, the digital background. The 21st century has transformed rhetoric as profoundly as the invention of the printing press. Digital platforms democratize persuasion, allowing anyone with internet access to reach global audiences. But they also amplify manipulation risks. This chapter explores how traditional rhetorical techniques, ethos, pathos, logos, adapt to digital contexts, and the challenges of maintaining intellectual autonomy in an algorithm-driven world. Algorithm amplification and filter bubbles. Social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube uses algorithms to prioritize content that maximizes user engagement, often favoring emotionally charged or sensational material that creates filter bubbles where users are exposed to content reinforcing this existing beliefs, reducing encounters with diverse perspectives. For example, a user engaging with environmental posts may see only eco-friendly content, narrowing their worldview. The 2016 Cambridge Analytica scandal, which harvested data from 87 million Facebook profiles to create psychological profiles and micro-target voters, illustrates the precision, and ethical risks of digital persuasion by tailoring ads to individual fears or desires. It manipulated electoral outcomes, showing how algorithms weaponize rhetoric. Misinformation and deep fakes. At 2018, MIT study examining 126,000 Twitter rumors found that false information spreads 6 times faster than truth, driven by its novelty and emotional impact. For example, disgust or surprise. For instance, a viral hoax about a celebrity's death spreads rapidly due to its shock value, outpacing factual corrections. Deepfakes, AI generated media that can make anyone appear to say or do anything, pose an even greater threat. A deep fake video of a politician making a false statement could sway elections, undermining trust in visual evidence. This technology challenges the reliability of human senses, cornerstone of traditional Richter. To navigate this landscape, students must question algorithmic content, verify sources, and recognize emotional triggers. Tools like fact-checking websites, for example, Snopes, and critical media literacy skills are vital. For example, cross-referencing a viral news a story with a reputable outlets can prevent falling for misinformation. Similarly, understanding deep fake technology helps students demand uh, authenticity in digital content. This chapter underscores the urgency of debating rhetorical analysis to digital challenges as algorithms and AI reshape discourse. A student must combine traditional tools, for example, analyzing ethics in a YouTuber's credibility, with modern strategies, for example, spotting algorithm paces to engage critically and ethically in the digital age. This ensures they can resist manipulation and contribute to informed public discourse. Rhetoric's dual nature and future application. Rhetoric's extraordinary capacity for both creation and destruction defines its neutral power. As Rudyard Kipling noted, words are the most powerful drug used by mankind. Its impact depends on technique, for example, anaphora or staging, intent, for example, enlightenment versus manipulation, and source, for example, trusted leader versus propagandist. The course contrasts Bernie's and Hitler's manipulative rhetoric with Lincoln's and King's transformative oratory, urging students to choose ethical persuasions. Students are encouraged to apply their learning in 3 ways. Uh, Become critical consumers, Analyze persuasive messages by questioning emotions, evidence, beneficiaries, and omissions. For example, it's criticizing political ads claims against that prevent manipulation. A social media post urging action on climate change should be checked for scientific accuracy and hidden agendas. Master ethical persuasion, build the ethos through expertise and integrity, use pathos responsibly, and construct logical arguments that acknowledge counterpoints. A student advocating for mental health resources should combine personal stories, pathos, research data, logos, and credible credentials, ethos to persuade effectively. Bold bridges use rhetoric to foster dialogue, find shared values, and translate complex ideas. For instance, explaining AI ethics to a non-technical audience requires clear analogies and relatable examples, encouraging productive discussion across divides. Mahatma Gandhi's words: the future depends on what you do today. Frame rhetoric as a tool for shaping democratic discourse in a world divided by algorithmic bubbles and information warfare. Mastering rhetoric ethically is not just a personal skill, but a societal necessity. Students who recognize, resist, and responsibly employ rhetoric can influence personal success and the future of informed, united public discourse. Thank you so much for watching me teaching you this subject, and I will provide you with the summary of the chapter and the test for the subject as well. I hope you understand everything. We went through this subject in 3 recorded videos. I hope you will gain every information you want from this 3 episodes. Thank you so much for watching in advance. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact with me to ask me any question you want privately or on the group. The administration will give you the videos as soon as possible, and of course, the related exam. Thank you so much. Catch you later in another subject. This is me, Mohammed Al-Wishi from London College of Information Studies.